Rick, you spent a lot of time in the Bay. What is your take on this storyline?
Ultimately, Connor's right. Going back to last summer, this was the decision that KD was leaving. I don't know that he knew exactly where. The Knicks were certainly in the pole position, but it was, I'm leaving. Because for the same reason that LeBron James left Miami. No matter what he did, it was never going to be his town. It was always going to be Wade County, no matter what he did. For Kevin Durant, it was always going to be Steph Curry's town. He had been the finals MVP, not once, but twice. He had won championships. And yet the tenor in the Bay Area, and the nation, quite honestly, was, well, he came along for the ride. I'm the guy, I'm the most valuable player. I'm arguably the best player in the game, and I'm second in this town. So it was a matter of, well, let's go try to see if we can win a three-peat. Let's go, I'd like to be a part of that. Let me see if I can get one more. But regardless of whether I get one or I don't, I'm going someplace else. There was an exchange in the middle of the season, and certainly in the locker room. Draymond and KD are on the same side, and those guys were always interacting. They were always making plans after games to go out or whatever. There was none of that. There was almost like a DMZ. KD's locker was in the corner, and reporters were the only ones who went to that area. He had more interaction with them than he had any of his teammates. They had one big game when I walked in, and Joe Lacob walked in from the players' area and almost bumped into KD and congratulated him. And it was so awkward when he put his hand out, the way KD kind of took his hand, the tight smile on Joe Lacob's face. It was just, I watched that transpire and I go, ooh, there is not good feeling here. There is separation here. So, yeah, it was there all along. People want to say maybe if you traded Draymond that you could have changed things and KD would have stayed. No, honestly, you would have had to trade Steph. And neither KD nor anybody else wanted to see that happen. So it was the situation that simply couldn't be resolved.
I agree. It's good. Remember, when I said the very same thing, and I broached it the same way. I said, KD, look at LeBron, and when in Miami, and even though he was the best player, he was a two-time league MVP, two-time finals MVP. But in Miami, in Florida, it was thought of as D. Wade's team, it's Wade County. I say, that's what you're up against. Skip, but David West gave us an indication last year, and I don't know if you remember he said this. David West said, we won, but people do not know how bad the dysfunction is in this locker room. Sean Livingston said he congratulated Steve Kerr from keeping all of this together. So it was starting to splinter. It was starting to fray then. I think when, who was that, Myers, Bob Myers said what he said on that stage, KD said, it's foregone conclusion.
Did you see you saw the look on his face?
Why would you, Skip, even if you feel that way, why would you ever utter that publicly in that venue? The man is like, he's already, and Steve Nash, I read an article, Steve Nash said even after the first one, he said Kevin Durant didn't feel validated like he thought he would by winning a title. So he's already feeling some kind of way.
That same story, I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
It was in the Athletic, I don't remember. But the point was that Bob Myers had a long flight sit down with Kevin and thought they were tight.
Right.
You know, like they were doing great.
And then Steve Kerr even had to have, they were in Portland and had a dinner.
Right.
With Kevin Durant because he
got back on the same page. All is well.
Skip, there was nothing. Golden State didn't respect it. There was nothing else Golden State could do. It was the fan base that didn't give the appreciation and the adulation. And then Bob Myers uttered. Maybe Steve Kerr felt like that, but Steve Kerr would never say that publicly.
Nope.
Bob Myers uttered it, and Kevin Durant said, you just confirmed what I knew to be true. I need to get up out of here.
So here's my question. Will Kevin Durant ever be happy anywhere? Because I'm not sure about this.
No.
We've all had our clashes, our incidents with Kevin. My first one was back in 2011. This was a long time ago. I'm on ESPN. I'm his biggest fan on ESPN. On almost a daily basis, I am criticizing his running mate, Russell Westbrook, for taking too many shots that Kevin should have shot. What's going on here? The next thing I know, Kevin has blasted, he's called over the Oklahoman reporter to blast me and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know SH about basketball. And yet I'm saying, I'm defending you.
Right.
No, he's going to then defend his man, Russ, against me. And I'm pretty sure I was the first to report that Kevin was going to leave Russ because he had decided, A, management did not respect him enough, that they respected Russ a little bit more, and that B, Kevin had decided he would never win a championship with Russell as his primary decision maker every time down the court. Mm-hmm. And yet, they're still clashing because Kevin Durant is the biggest contradiction I have ever encountered in all my years of covering sports. He is the thinnest skinned, yet he can be the toughest minded in big clutch moments when the world is waiting for him to fall on his face in the finals after he joined forces with the Golden State Warriors. He came up as big and clutch as you will ever see. Back-to-back MVPs because of 2 monstrous game 3s in LeBron's house. I give him that. But he seems to thrive on our negativity. Yeah. He jumped on you about something recently.
Yeah, that's what I said about he was not going to be loved and valued in the Bay like Steph. Right. And he said that was an ignorant statement.
Okay. And now he's telling the San Francisco Chronicle reporter, you don't know what you're talking about. Right. You don't know me like that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, through everything, wants to be judged merely on basketball and wants everybody to look at this through the prism of basketball.
Right.
Which is just not a realistic look.
Thank you.
And I feel as if KD is still figuring out not only what he wants, but who he is. And if anybody is jumping the gun and suggesting that they have an inkling of who he is or what he wants or what he's going to do, that offends him. Because I think inherently it's because I haven't figured it out myself.
Right.
Don't tell me who I am. I'm still putting this puzzle together myself.
I would agree with that.
We just know that the championship didn't give him the peace that he thought it would.
Yes. And the other part, quite honestly, it's the same with LeBron. The credit was always going to go to the organization and the players. We showed you how to win a championship. And now it's a matter, can I take that?
You do that all the time, Skip Bayless. D-Wade showed him how to win. D-Wade, well, you do that.
It's true. That's true.
Gentlemen. Great stuff this morning. Rick, we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.